Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Blue Ridge Silverhound. I am your host, Sean. And first of all, good morning. Welcome. And we are going to go ahead and do the part two of the Heritage Auctions A&A World's Fair of Money recap show, in which we take a look at all of the other denominations of coins that made waves. And there are quite a few of them. As we saw in my last episode, we took a look at the Lincoln cents that sold for a lot of money. A lot of what you've seen are some pretty notable varieties, doubled dies, the close AM 92, the 95D doubled die, and then a couple of those transitional 1943 and 1944 Lincoln cents that certainly made a huge impact. There wasn't a ton of what I would consider to be like condition, top grade, top tier type coins. And the same is going to hold true in this particular broadcast. I think more so, we are going to identify the hotbed of activity of certain coins that collectors are gravitating more towards. Now, is this a shift in the collecting or investing habits of these collectors? It's kind of hard to say, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what popped off here on Heritage Auctions A&A World's Fair of Money show. Starting with the first coin that we have here, and it's going to be a 1982D Jefferson Nickel. Ironically, this is the only Jefferson Nickel we're talking about. Now, there were a few coins that certainly made their marks known, for high grade, full steps. That's that strong strike that a lot of discerning Jefferson Nickel enthusiasts look for. But this one right here, this 1982D, is worth mentioning because it's coming from a decade that traditionally, number one, isn't widely collected. And number two, there's not a lot of people that hoarded these coins in their traditional kind of like as-made mint state condition. So finding some that are in really nice shape with a strong strike is pretty tough. So the coin that you see here is an NGC Mint State 67. This one is designated by NGC as having 5 full steps. So 5 full steps is almost there. Okay, NGC is the only grading company that designates a 5 full steps, whereas these coins have 6 full steps, and the other grading companies like PCGS and I believe Annex grades off of the 6-step criteria. So on this one right here, it sold for $1,440. Okay, and the real question is this traditionally a realistic market value for this type of coin? And it could be. All right, it could be. I didn't take the time to look at the actual pop numbers of this coin with full steps through like a PCGS, but I would imagine it's pretty low. Okay, and especially at a 67 level, in which you're going to have nice blistering luster, that cartwheel luster that a lot of collectors look for on these coins. In the early 80s, the strikes were bad enough that you didn't see a lot of that luster activity. So there you go, 1982D. As a matter of fact, on the counterpoint, there are a number of Roosevelt Dimes that certainly made a splash at the A&A auction. Okay, I have a trio of coins right here that we're going to talk about. On their own, they're not rare at all. Okay, these are dated coins that were produced into the millions. The first one that we have here is a 1954D Roosevelt Dime. This one is the most attractive out of the three, in my estimation, based off of the originality, the toning. Keep in mind, as recently as about 25 years ago, toning of this measure was widely disregarded as anything special. As a matter of fact, there were a lot of people that were still dipping these coins, robbing and stripping away not only the original toning, but some of the original luster as well. If you think about some of the strong chemical strippers and jewelry cleaners that are used to remove toning, it's acid. I mean, it's legitimate stuff that will strip away a few layers of the original skin of the coin. All right, which is why there are a lot of coins out there that have that dull, lifeless kind of look, especially if you're going through bulk Roosevelt Dime silver coins for the mere prospect of just investing in silver. But today, okay, people are looking for originality. Okay, furthermore, they're also looking for some of the strong strike characteristics. In this particular case, this 54D is an NGC graded Mint State 68 with full torch or full bands. So you have the full strong strike on the reverse, where you have that line that splits not only the top set of bands on that torch, but also the bottom set of bands. This one brought home $1,800. Again, proof positive that coins of this nature are very widely sought after. The toning certainly helps in this case, as proving that this coin is 100% original, and you could almost imagine that this coin spent some time in a jewelry box or maybe in an old album. There's a lot of allure, a lot of appeal, a lot of imagination that goes into collecting coins like this. The next coin, just as nice, I'm not going to lie, is going to be this 1959 Roosevelt Dime, which exhibits a lot of originality. Not to the level as the 54D that you saw before in terms of the coloration and the overall eye appeal, but certainly a nice coin here. This one graded PCGS Mint State 67 plus, so it's half a point grade higher than the previous example. This one, of course, is full bands or full torch as well. And this one sold for $2,880. Generally, Philadelphia minted coins are much tougher to find with that stronger strike, and that's why this one sold for quite a bit more, a larger margin of cash than the 54D. The next coin, of course, is a coin that you would usually not even find on a list like this, and that's the 1964D Roosevelt Dime. One of the most common silver dimes in existence, made into the millions, the hundreds of millions as a matter of fact. This example here is a PCGS Mint State 67 plus with full bands, full torch. And of course, this one also has that original toned surface coloration on there. Again, not the most attractive, but this is more of a marquee diagnostic to the originality of a coin that maybe spent many decades in an album or somewhere holed up where you have a lot of reaction to the silver. All right, so this is a nice coin. This one sold for $3,120. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. We don't traditionally look at coins like this saying, oh yeah, that right there is a $3,100 coin. You just don't see it that often. So we have equally a number of impressive Washington quarters. I'm glad to introduce this first one right here, which, by the way, is a beautifully toned 1952S. The graders don't grade these on a strike designation. However, they do take that into consideration on the numerical part of it. So this one is strong enough strike, as far as its strike, that it was able to achieve a PCGS Mint State 68. It is also CAC certified, which on this particular grade level, on this old of a coin, that's incredibly tough. We're talking about worlds colliding, and you just don't see that often. It's just really tough and difficult to find a coin of this nature to be able to grade out this high at a 68 level and CAC certified. The toning is second to none. All right, this is one of the most beautiful spotty colored toned coins I have ever come across, and this one sold for $5,040. Truly magnificent example right here. The next coin right here, again, we're getting into the Philadelphias. It's a 1954P Washington quarter. This one graded NGC Mint State 68 with a star. The star traditionally indicates exceptional eye appeal for this type of coin. Again, if you're finding some of these coins from an old inheritance collection or whatever, do not clean them. People want this originality on a coin. This is what people are buying today. And I've noticed the trends over the last 6 to 12 months indicating that people are paying exorbitant amounts of cash for originally toned examples. They don't have to be this quite level of coloration or anything like that. It just has to be all original. And when the graders grade these, they actually do a point bump because of the original skin on these coins. So if you come across these in your travels or at a show or at a coin shop, or maybe you bought something online or Facebook or whatever, do not dip these coins. Okay, you're going to be throwing away money real easily. This particular example here, get this, sold for $12,030. Okay, and it helps that it's also CAC certified. It doesn't show on the actual image, but this one also had the green bean sticker on there. It was just placed a little bit lower than what the label was. But that's a lot of money for an otherwise common dated coin. Keep this in mind. Plus, it's NGC graded. It's not even PCGS, NGC, which has taken a second fiddle to PCGS, among the collecting community, which is crazy. So we're going to wrap it up as far as the Washington quarters with this 1954S. Actually, I take that back. There's one more beast of a coin on this list. That's also a quarter. But this 54S right here is another pleasing example with some originality to it. It's an NGC graded Mint State 68. This one sold for $5,760. Originality sells. Keep that in mind as we continue to talk about these type of coins. And finally, who would have thought that a list would include a 1971 Washington quarter in which it was made in plentiful quantities? This one is a PCGS Mint State 67, just proving that there are a few dates within the clad era of coins, the post-1965, that sell for $3,840. 67 seems to be kind of like that that threshold level in which these coins get nasty, stupid expensive. This one is a case of which that that happened. It's pretty crazy. So let's talk about a few candy half dollars. All right, the first one that we have here is going to be a 1965. Of course, we affectionately know these as the 40% silver clad half dollars. Okay, they were made from 65 all the way to 1970, in which 1970 was a Denver minted only example that was included specifically in mint sets. This example that you see here is a PCGS Mint State 67. Shows quite a bit of nice light pastel colors on there. Again, originality sells. This one sold for $4,800. All right, it's a combination of a really nice grade with some of the original skin. So that's a pretty nice, acceptable example if I ever saw one. So we do have one more candy half dollar. In this case, it's a 69D, another 40% clad silver coin. This one, same grade, PCGS Mint State 67, and this one also sold for $3,840. You just can't go wrong with coins that have some of that natural coloring, clean overall surfaces, that are free from any nicks, scratches, things like that. So I would venture to guess that maybe this was one coin that came out of a BU roll and then placed in an old album for a while, and then you have a coin that looks just generally an overall attractive piece. And finally, the final coin that we're going to talk about regarding the modern era of coins is going to be a 2000p Cheerios Sacagawea dollar. Of course, there were 3 of these for sale. I picked just one to talk about. There were 1 Mint State 67 and 2 68s. Of course, I picked a 68 to talk about. Again, these are coins, again, with the engraved tail feathers on the reverse that look a lot different than just the regular 2000p Sacagawea dollars. This one is PCGS graded Mint State 68. Of course, a chase coin in every measure of the sense, sold for $6,000. These were included in boxes of Cheerios cereal. I've talked about it time and time again. Sometimes it pays to eat your cereal. Even though sometimes people say it's not healthy, in this case it was a healthy financial decision. So, I'm going to do something that I don't typically do on these broadcasts, but I wanted to talk about the most expensive coin that's sold during the Heritage Auctions ANA World's Fair Money Show. And I'm also going to talk about the one coin that if I died today because I owned it, I would die a happy man. It's going to be my all-time favorite coin, in which one was sold. Actually, 2 were sold, but there's two different variants of the coin. But in this particular case, the big dog dollar coin sold for $576,000, and it's a 1837 quarter eagle, which is carries a face value of $2.50. This one is a PCGS Proof 66 Plus. It is also CAC certified. For what it's worth, okay, this might seem like a bunch of jibber jabber, but it's a Breen 6145 Variety 18 JD1, and it's a high R7. You're probably thinking to yourself, what the heck did you just talk about? Well, this is simply just a cataloging and designation number for this particular coin. Even though there are only 4 known of this coin. Now, I'm not talking 4 known as in 4 graded, but 4 total pieces known to this day of this coin. And you put 2 and 2 together, this is simply an investment piece. $576,000 with the low quantity number of these produced by the Philadelphia Mint. You better believe that this coin is going to enhance in value by a huge margin. I could see this coin possibly hitting the $1 million mark in the next 15 to 20 years. Easy. Real easy. But this is just an attractive early type piece. I wouldn't even go as much as saying it's a type piece, because again, it's an investment type of item that you see here that carries an extraordinary amount of value. My house isn't even worth this. Not even by a stretch. It's pretty crazy. Beautiful, beautiful coin. It's also worth mentioning that there is one other example at the National Numismatic Collection at the Smithsonian Institute, to kind of give you a little tie-in as to how rare and how desired this coin is amongst the high-end, quote-unquote, I'm using air quotes this morning, community of investors and collectors. Pretty incredible coin. So, I want to wrap it up and discuss my personal favorite coin on the list, and I'm happy to say and introduce the 1915S octagonal Panama Pacific $50 gold piece that you see here. This one sold for $156,000. Yes, it's a lot of money, but they've always been worth an excessive amount of money, and I'm okay with that. It's a PCGS Mint State 65 example, CAC certified. This is my personal holy grail. If somehow, some way, I was able to pick one of these up, all right, in a slabbed holder that is all original, not cleaned, not anything, but other just undeniable beauty staring me in my face, I would die a happy man today. I know it seems crazy because this is like an inanimate object. It has no feelings. It's a very materialistic item to hold. But in terms of being that I'm a coin guy through and through, I have been so for many decades, this is the one coin that I would love to own. Okay, this would be right there along with the Stella $4 gold piece. Huge coins. Again, these are investment vehicles right here. There are collectors that have these, but with the amount of money involved with the purchase of such an item, it is all investment all day long. As far as the design just screams early 20th century Americana. Okay, the piece, and I don't know if you guys can really see it on these images, the one focal point that I love on these coins, and it's only exclusive to the octagonal. There is a round version of this coin as well. But the octagonal, you could see the little dolphins at every peak on the edge. Truly marvelous. That's Art Deco at its finest. And this, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I've shared it today, is my #1 favorite all-time coin. If money was not a factor in my life, I would own 1, 2, maybe 10 of these today. But realistically, we're just gonna have to keep on saving up those pennies and dimes, and coin roll hunting and looking for various things I could save and sell and put it into a pot. So maybe one day in the near future, Blue Ridge Silverhound can afford one of these exquisite pieces. And that, guys, wraps up what I consider to be a very fruitful, a very imaginative, a very amazing 2019 Heritage Auctions ANA World's Fair of Money recap show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Kind of a two-parter of sorts of the Monday market report. This is a big show every year. There is nothing bigger than the ANA show. I mean, you have the Baltimore show, you got the Florida Fun, you have all of these great marquee events every year. This one is right up there. It's my top two, I would say. 1A, 1B, whatever the case may be. Pretty cool show. If you guys, are in town or nearby, I believe, what is this, Chicago is where this show is. Definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. And check out the next Heritage Auctions, okay? HA.com produces some of the greatest shows. All right, they even do the weekly shows, which have a lot of great pieces. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more on the affordable side, and it's not Panama Pacific caliber of expensive, then Heritage Auctions always seeks out some of the finest, nicest pieces of all price levels. So check them out. Thank you guys for joining. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for instant notifications. I'm glad you took the time to spend the last 21 minutes of this video checking out some of the neatest coins ever sold here this past week. You guys take care. Enjoy the hobby. Would love to hear your comments. You guys take care. Have a great day.